Have you ever wondered just how long humanity has been walking this earth? The story we're usually told is that modern humans, Homo sapiens, appeared around 300,000 years ago. But what if I told you there is evidence that challenges everything we think we know about our own history? Evidence that's been literally set in stone, suggesting a human presence millions of years earlier than a NY mainstream textbook would dare to admit. We're talking about a fossilized footprint, discovered alongside dinosaur tracks, that could rewrite human history. Is it a hoax? Is it a misidentification? Or is it the most suppressed archaeological discovery of all time? Today, we're digging deep into the mystery of the oldest footprints on Earth, and what we uncover might just change your perspective forever. Stick with me as we journey back in time, far beyond the accepted narrative, to uncover a truth that has been buried for eons. It all started back in 1908, along the banks of the Paluxy River in Glen Rose, Texas. This area is world famous for its incredible dinosaur tracks, perfectly preserved in the limestone riverbed. But amongst these giant three-toed footprints, locals started noticing something else. Something that looked eerily familiar. They were human-like footprints, right there in the same 113-million-year-old Cretaceous rock layer as the dinosaurs. One of the most famous examples is the Burdick track, a stunningly clear print that looks undeniably human, complete with the correct toe placement and arch. Imagine the scene, a creature that looks like us, walking on the same muddy flats as a giant Acrocanthosaurus. For decades, these tracks were a local curiosity. But in the 1960s, a man named Stanley Taylor created a film called Footprints in Stone, bringing the Paluxy River tracks to international attention. He and his team excavated several of these man tracks, revealing long trails that showed a consistent human-like stride. Could this be real? Could humans and dinosaurs have coexisted? The implications were staggering, and the scientific community was about to be rocked to its core. As you can imagine, the mainstream scientific establishment was not thrilled. The idea of humans living 113 million years ago completely demolishes the entire framework of evolutionary theory, so the counter-arguments came swift and strong. Skeptics claimed the human prints were just cleverly eroded dinosaur tracks or outright carvings made by locals to sell to tourists. Some paleontologists argued that what appeared to be toes were simply mud collapse patterns, and the overall shape was a coincidence. They pointed out that no human skeletal remains had ever been found in rocks that old. The debate raged on. Creationists championed the tracks as definitive proof of their worldview, while mainstream scientists dismissed them as pseudoscience. In the 1980s, a prominent skeptic even showed that some tracks, when cross-sectioned, didn't show the expected compression patterns in the rock layers beneath the print. This was presented as the final nail in the coffin for the Paluxy man tracks. The case was declared closed, and the discovery was relegated to the fringes of scientific discussion. But was the dismissal too hasty? Did they ignore the evidence that didn't fit their conclusion? What's fascinating is that the Paluxy River tracks aren't an isolated incident. All around the world, similar out-of-place artifacts and footprints have been unearthed, only to be dismissed or ignored. In the 1930s, in a coal mine in Kentucky, a series of human-like footprints were found in a Carboniferous coal seam, dated to be over 250 million years old. Then there's the famous Meister print from Utah, discovered in 1968. It appears to be a sandal print, complete with a heel, crushing a trilobite, an ancient marine creature that went extinct 250 million years ago. Again, the official explanation was that it was just a strange rock formation, a natural pattern that coincidentally looked like a footprint. In Turkmenistan, Soviet scientists in the 1980s reported finding what looked like a human footprint in Jurassic rock, dated to 150 million years ago, right next to dinosaur tracks. Each time one of these discoveries pops up, it follows the same pattern: initial excitement followed by intense academic criticism, and then a quiet fade into obscurity. Is it possible that all of these are just coincidences? Or is there a pattern of evidence that we're being discouraged from connecting? This is where we get into the science they do and often talk about in the documentaries that dismiss these finds. Let's go back to the Paluxy River. While some tracks were indeed explained away, others defied easy explanation. The Arvis Delk slab, for instance, shows a clear human-like footprint overlapping a dinosaur footprint. Both prints show the same texture and preservation, suggesting they were made at the same time in the same mud. CT scans of the slab confirm that the features of the prints extend down into the rock, proving they aren't surface carvings. The pressure dynamics are consistent with a living foot pressing into mud. Critics who claim these are just eroded dinosaur tracks have a hard time explaining the distinct 5 toes and the clear human arch visible in the best examples. They also tend to ignore the long trails of these prints, which show a consistent stride length and pattern, something very difficult to attribute to random erosion or a collection of different carvings. The evidence against a simple dismissal is actually quite strong, yet it rarely makes it into the mainstream conversation. It seems that if a piece of data doesn't fit the established timeline, it's often easier to label it an anomaly than to reconsider the entire timeline itself. This leads us to an even more unsettling question. Are some discoveries being actively hidden or silenced? For over a century, reports from miners and amateur fossil hunters have described finding sophisticated human artifacts embedded in ancient rock layers or coal seams. In 1891, a woman in Illinois found a delicate gold chain inside a lump of coal that was 300 million years old. In 1912, employees at a municipal electric plant in Oklahoma broke open a large piece of coal and found an iron pot inside. These are just a couple of the dozens of stories that have been documented. The professional response? Usually, silence. These artifacts are never put on display in major museums. They are often lost or held in private collections, far from public and academic scrutiny. The individuals who find them are often ridiculed. Dr. Virginia Stain McIntyre is a geologist who, in the 1970s, dated a site in Hueyatlaco, Mexico, where advanced human tools were found. Her multiple, rigorous tests returned a date of 250,000 years, a date that was considered impossible. She stood by her data, and she claims her career was effectively ruined because of it. She couldn't get her work published and was ostracized by her colleagues. It raises a chilling possibility that our understanding of the past is being curated, and anything that doesn't fit the narrative simply gets erased. So if we entertain the possibility that these footprints and artifacts are genuine, what could it all mean? What really happened in our planet's deep past? Well, there are a few mind-bending theories. One theory is that we are not the first advanced civilization on Earth. Perhaps another intelligent species, or even an earlier version of humanity, rose and fell millions of years ago, leaving behind only the faintest traces of their existence, like a footprint in the mud that happened to fossilize. This is sometimes called the Silurian hypothesis. Another, more radical idea is that time isn't as linear as we perceive it. Could ancient astronauts or even time travelers have visited Earth in the distant past, leaving their footprints alongside the dinosaurs? While this sounds like science fiction, when faced with evidence that seems impossible, it's a possibility that some researchers are willing to consider. A third theory suggests that our methods for dating are fundamentally flawed. Maybe the geological layers aren't as old as we think, and catastrophic events mixed up the fossil record in ways we don't yet understand. Whatever the truth is, the existence of these anomalies suggests that the story of our origins is far more mysterious and complex than the simple, linear tale we've been told. The footprints in the stone of Glen Rose, Texas, and other similar discoveries around the world present us with a profound choice. We can either accept the conventional story and dismiss all of this as error and hoax, or we can open our minds to the possibility that human history is vastly older and more mysterious than we ever imagined. These tracks challenge us to question what we've been taught and to look at the world with a greater sense of wonder and curiosity. The past is not a closed book. It's an ongoing investigation, and we might only be at the beginning of understanding our true story. What do you think? Are these footprints the real deal? Or are they just a geological trick of the eye? Let me know your theories in the comments below. I read every single one. Thank you so much for joining me on this journey into the deep past. If you enjoyed this exploration and want to uncover more mysteries with me, please hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. It really helps us continue our search for the truth. Until next time, stay curious.